Coffee is just a thing that most of us, I know I did, take completely for granted. It is the way my day has started since I was about 14. And I don't think I ever gave my cup of coffee a second thought. Climate change is having a devastating impact in coffee country. Wet places are getting wetter, dry places are getting drier. And with that comes pest and pestilence and disease and the need for new knowledge, new farming techniques. When you see this beautiful blue marble floating in the vast black emptiness of space, you do not see borders. You do not see religions or ethnicities. You just see this one fragile little ecosystem that supports all of us. It doesn't matter what religion you are, and it doesn't matter what color you are, it doesn't matter what language you speak. I know for sure that pollution does not pay attention to borders.
The conclusion that you come to is that holding each other in dignity and respect is really the pathway forward, period. My name is Bob Fish. I'm co-founder of a concept called BIGGBY Coffee. BIGGBY Coffee is a coffee franchise concept that has 458 units, I think is the most recent number, in 13 states. And then with my wife, Michelle, co-founder of an organization called One Bigg Island in Space. Big is with 2 G's. And Michelle can tell you about that.
I'm Michelle Fish, co-founder of One Bigg Island in Space with 2 G's. 7 years ago, we decided to go to our first coffee farm. Coffee was under threat because of the sea market and the way the sea market functions. So about 80% of the time over the last 20 years, coffee farmers have been paid less than the cost of production. So that's not sustainable. You take shortcuts. You take shortcuts usually first with your family. Maybe you stop sending your kids to school. Maybe you can't afford to ever go to the doctor. Maybe you become food insecure. But eventually, you have no choice. You got to walk off the land. The other thing is climate change. Climate change is having a devastating impact in coffee country. Wet places are getting wetter. Dry places are getting drier. And with that comes pest and pestilence and disease and the need for new knowledge, new farming techniques. We needed to do something to be the change. And we have this tremendous opportunity because BIGGBY Coffee buys a lot of coffee every year. This year, it'll be around 3 million pounds of coffee. What if we could change the way the value chain operates? What if we could, first of all, get rid of as many middlemen as possible?
Welcome to Behind the Coffee Curtain with Bob and Michelle.
Oh, hey there. We just bought a pound of coffee for $10.
Now, it takes a lot of work to make this, so we thought we'd follow the money to see who's getting paid along the way.
I'll take that.
Wait a minute, who are you?
I'm the middleman, Bobby. You want coffee? I'll get you coffee.
Oh, okay, middleman. So where's my $10 going?
Well, there's a couple of dollars for the importer, a couple more for the roaster, there's some shipping costs, and the final retailer makes a couple bucks too, so that's 9 of your $10 right there.
But wait a minute, all that $9 happens in the wealthy countries, right?
The poor countries that produce it only make $1?
Well, sort of. We still have to pay the exporter, the taxes, the transportation, the dry and wet mills out of that dollar. But don't worry, all the rest of that goes to the farmer.
Holy that's just a few cents.
And of course the farmer still has to pay for the labor to maintain his fields all year round and buy all the things they need to run the farm.
Not to mention their food, their shelter, the education for their families.
Yeah, it does suck for them. Anyway, business is business, and I'm in it to win it, for me. Besides, I don't control the market price for coffee.
Well then, who does control the market price for coffee?
That's all the time we have. See you next time on Behind the Coffee Curtain.
Wait a minute. Why are the middlemen always men?
It's a good question. I think you call aren't they called coyotes or something? And they're pretty ugly.
I think it's because they're nefarious. Middlemen are middlemen because they are nefarious.
Right.
And only men can be nefarious. Women are generally not nefarious.
I don't disagree with you at all. Yeah.
That's our introduction. Good luck with the rest of the interview.
Before we get into that good stuff, Michelle, I was going to ask you guys a bit of a more a personal question, if that's all right. Because being pipples ourselves, we're always curious, partners in business and life. What's it like working with your hubby?
I can go first.
Yeah. I'd be curious to hear.
No. I mean, it's amazing. First of all, I can't imagine the journey without Michelle. And if we had to do this apart, I don't think we'd be doing it. So, that's like number one and number two. What's it like? It is like 1 + 1 is equal to 3, is what I would say. So, as a married couple, there's certainly a shorthand in communication. Sometimes I don't even have to open my mouth, and my wife knows exactly what I'm thinking, which is in the most positive of ways. And, this work has turned into something that is very purposeful for us. And so as a couple, to share the same purpose and to be out on the road doing it together, having this adventure, building essentially a legacy for ourselves. I wish everybody to be so lucky.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah, I second everything he said. We also come to it, although we are in a lot of ways very similar as people, we have different lenses, and the work that we do is enriched by that difference. We have different skill sets, but they're very complementary. And, it's just been such a joy to grow together in this work. We've learned a lot along the way. We always say that we're building the spaceship while we fly it. And that's really true. We make it up as we go along, but we get better all the time. But considering that we travel about 200 days a year, if we didn't do it together, it really wouldn't work.
No.
Wow. Do you guys both have wanderlust then? It sounds like you probably do. Has that been something that kind of characterizes you as individuals? Sounds like you just love traveling and just seeing the world.
Yes. I mean, we grew up that way. I was a Navy brat. My husband was a Ford brat. So we moved all the time, all over the world. And even within those moves, our families loved to travel. So we were in Europe. We spent a lot of time all over Europe. Same thing in Southeast Asia. So it's natural for us to want to get out there.
We don't even know what the word home means.
Well, you probably do though, because home is where the heart is, right?
Ah, what a great setup that was. Ching.
Home is also where the dogs are.
That too, yeah,
exactly.
that too.
No, I think we totally agree, right?
Yeah,
it's like, I can't imagine breathing without you, let alone kind of running a business without you. But I think,
or finding your keys, or
leaving the cupboard doors open, or leaving the toilet seat up,
or zipping up your fly.
Zipping up a fly. Do very often.
No.
Strangely, I don't know why, but it just doesn't really happen very often.
No. So I don't know quite what you would do.
I'm not quite sure.
But no, I agree with you. I think not having to separate for me the church and state of personal life and professional life has been one of the biggest gifts, because I think I just can't. Maybe because I always love what I do to the point that it's part of me. So then having to bifurcate those two worlds is really exhausting. So I like that they can bleed over. And I also like the fact I don't have to explain myself. If I'm working really late, he knows why I'm working late. I don't have to try to justify the fact that I won't be home for dinner tonight because I have to do X or Y. He knows. So it's easier to kind of, just duck and weave as we need to, which I've really appreciated.
What's the if you don't mind, I'll ask you both this because I'm just curious to know if it's the same, if you share the same theme. BIGGBY Coffee, I mean, Bob, BIGGBY Coffee is a bit more than a concept, I would argue. Given that you have 440 locations in 13 states, I think you proved it beyond concept a little. What's been the hardest part? What have you found the toughest bit of building and scaling that operation?
I mean, work and time. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but, this kind of success, however that's defined, seems to me to take more work and time than is reasonable in comparison to like my own expectations of where things should be by now or by certain moments in time. So many times a company is discovered and they seem like an overnight success. after they've been grinding it out for 20 years. You know?
Right.
So,
Right.
you know, so the purpose of me in saying that is that although we should always have high expectations and a sense of urgency about everything, I think it's really reasonable to understand that it will take more work and more time than you can anticipate.
Ain't that the truth?
Are you living it?
Living it.
Oh yeah, every day.
Yeah. If I had to do my MIP at the moment, it would be very tired.
Exactly, right? And it's sort of contrary to the mythology that's out there about owning a business or how to own a business or how to get a business going and so on and so forth. But it just takes a little bit more work and time than seems reasonable.
Yeah. That stuff you see on Facebook really pisses me off. You know, these guys are I make half a million every month and I do 3 hours work and I'm sitting in my Bentley at a hotel looking at, you know, half-dressed women. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Rubbish.
Try being a Gen Z that has to watch all these influencers just making money by hanging out and traveling.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I would say there can be a distinction. So like Michelle and I mean, we work really hard. But 99.9% of the time, the thing that we're doing today with One Bigg Island in space doesn't even feel like work.
Mm. Yeah. Well, how would you respond to that, Michelle? Like, what's been the hardest thing for you?
Listen, I was retired. I was out of the whole working world from the time we got married. I was indulging my passions. I'm a master gardener. We had a beautiful garden that Bob and I created together in East Lansing. And I think, you know, that house has been sold long enough. I'm allowed to say I spent about 40 hours a week in it. Bob told me I was never allowed to tell anybody that or we'd never be able to sell it. So I was done. And then this opportunity came up. And I don't think it was a given necessarily that I was going to play the role that I do in OBIIS when we took our first couple of trips to coffee farms. We didn't really know what we were going to be doing. I mean, we knew we wanted to do something. We didn't know what that something would be and what it would look like and what it would take to accomplish it. And kind of 7 years in, I can't, there was never a moment at which I said, oh gosh, this is just getting too much. You know, I was in love with the people that we were meeting and I wanted to do everything within my skill set and my power to bring relationships to fruition that will impact communities, you know? So, and yes, it's hard. I like this kind of travel takes a toll on your body. We are not spring chickens, you know? And I have come home with, you know, questionable intestinal parasites and, you know, bug bites from spiders that, those things are scary looking, like all of
They're
that.
terrifying.
But I don't, but at no point did I ever say to myself, that's it, I'm out. There's a thing about really falling in love with the work that you do that it's sort of like motherhood.
Yeah.
Like, you fall in love with your children. So when they're babies and they throw up in your mouth, you don't drop them. It's the same thing with OBIIS. I'm in love with it. So whatever comes, it's worth the trade-off. And it's hard and it's also easy. You know, like I can't imagine any other kind of a life.
Could you just, because it's funny, I did look up where One Bigg Island in space came from, and I had an inkling what it might be referring to, and needless to say, I was proven correct.
You are brilliant.
Would you just kind of explain where the inspiration for One Bigg Island in space came from, Michelle? Because I think it's super cool.
Yeah, it is that iconic picture taken by I think it was Apollo 8, wasn't it, babe?
Mm.
Yeah.
The first time that humans were able to see a picture of what the Earth looked like from space. Mm. And it's really remarkable because you can get really caught up in things like nations and borders and even towns within countries. You know, you can really feel the smallness of it when you're here. But when you see this beautiful blue marble floating in the vast black emptiness of space. You do not see borders. You do not see religions or ethnicities. You just see this one fragile little ecosystem that supports all of us. And it doesn't matter what religion you are, and it doesn't matter what color you are, it doesn't matter what language you speak. I know for sure that pollution does not pay attention to borders, It doesn't like in the Hunger Games and one of those movies, like the poison gas came up and it like went up the wall. It doesn't do that. It goes straight. So we've all got to take care of each other in order for all of us to thrive. And we definitely have to take care of our ecosystem if we want to be able to thrive in it. The planet will be fine, regardless of what happens to us. But we have to take care that we can live here, that it can support us. So hence One Bigg Island in space.
OBIIS. There you go.
OBIIS is going to be the name of my next dog. I like that. That's a good name.
It is a good name. Isn't it?
I could see shouting out the door. OBIIS, get back here.
I always think of like a kind of old school British early electronica band when I hear One Bigg Island in Space. It sounds a bit like kind of, that
Pink
kind
Floydy?
Of, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what comes to mind. That kind of triangle in space. Yeah.
Or Beatles.
Yeah.
Yellow Submarine.
Yeah.
Well, we came up with the idea while sitting in the TARDIS.
I'm sorry?
Have you ever heard of the TARDIS? You know Doctor Who?
Doctor Who?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, and the phone box that they go and find, it's called the TARDIS. So we were sitting in the TARDIS when we came up with this.
Well, that's funny.
And funny. Our son was and is a huge Doctor Who fan. And so his bedroom door was painted like the blue police call box. So it looked like you were going into the TARDIS when you went into his bedroom. And for one Halloween, Bob and Dylan made a giant styrofoam TARDIS that he could wear. It was a wearable TARDIS. He couldn't go very far in it. I think we kind of went around the block once and that was it. But the TARDIS is never far from us. So
there you go.
Oh,
and I thought you were just slipping good stuff into your coffee. That's what I thought.
No. But everything we did learn in life was from Pink Floyd and Star Trek, and we've just mashed that together, and this is what the outcome is.
Excellent.
Oh, you can't go wrong with that. I don't think, can you really?
No.
That's the answer to the universe and everything, right there.
The other thing that's sort of interesting to me is the disparate life experiences aggregated along the way to this moment in time that become useful. Michelle was in theater. She sang the blues for 20 years.
Amazing.
I did.
She owned her own PR firm that did speech writing. I guess what I wanted to say is that you just never know what disparate skill sets that you aggregate. The other thing with Michelle was she was a master gardener. Like how that played out in the coffee fields was really phenomenal. She's not a coffee agronomist, but there's so much carryover. And so when it happens, this moment where like all the shit you did in your life that comes together in one point of clarity, and then you go get to work on that is a pretty amazing experience.
I'm Michelle Fish. My husband, Bob, is the co-CEO of one of the largest coffee shop chains in the United States. And together, we are the founders of One Bigg Island in Space. We're on a mission to change the way coffee is bought and sold around the world. We've been traveling the globe looking for millions of pounds of coffee from producers that are doing the right thing for their people, for the planet, and for their communities. When we find them, we connect them to a marketplace of buyers that will pay them the right price for their coffee, now and for years to come. It's a model that is beyond fair trade and beyond USDA organic. We call it Farm Direct. Our visits don't always work out, but we won't stop going until we can put a name, a face, and a place on every cup of coffee we serve.
I love your tagline for OBIIS, by the way. Putting a name, a face, and a place on every cup of coffee you serve. I thought, there's a word witch at play there somewhere. Someone's a really good storyteller.
I have to give full credit to my husband on that one. He is.
That's a good one. That's a good one, Bob.
He's a genius at like taking this very disparate, weird kind of thing and then turning it into a phrase that makes all the sense, and it's this long, and yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
And as you indicated, I think it can't be done in a way that has a pointed finger, and it cannot be done in a way that's shaming. And so, these words, sustainable, regenerative, and so on, they can be dog whistle words, they can be turn-off words, intellectual words. How do you explain something to folks so that it can resonate with them in their regular life? That's it.
Yeah.
To tag on to what he's saying, it also can't be abstract because, particularly if you're talking about something like coffee. Coffee is just a thing that most of us, I know I did, take completely for granted. Like, it is the way my day has started since I was about 14, and I don't think I ever gave my cup of coffee a second thought other than whether or not I was going to put, it's almost embarrassing to say, hazelnut creamer in it or regular creamer. That would be like as deep as I thought about my coffee. And if we can definitely go down the wonky path where we tell you all the things that are wrong with the coffee supply chain. But those are really abstract. We're fortunate. The people that we work with, that we seek out, are really doing the heavy lifting of changing the world. They're really remarkable people. So an easier way to get you into that conversation is to create an emotional connection with somebody who's remarkable. We feature our partners in all of those stories, and we tell their story. So we're not talking about, what's wrong with the way dry mills weigh the coffee when it comes in and how they might be ripping off farmers. We're telling you about somebody who's really great rather than telling you about something that's really bad and letting you connect to that. And then you're like, well, wow, I really want to drink coffee from there because those people are amazing.
The kind of work we do might be considered a little do-goodery and maybe even charitable work, possibly. Like somebody might confuse what we're doing as philanthropic, and it's not. This is a complete capital model, right? So the reason it's a capital model for us is what we are trying to do. This might even be considered selfish. Is secure a supply chain of coffee because coffee is at risk, and so we're trying to guarantee that we have a supply, and we're trying to make sure that we can get that supply at a stable price. And so when we started in 2018, we could see that because of climate change and because producers were walking off their farms, the production was going to level out. But because of population growth, demand was going to continue on, right? So what were we going to do to guarantee a supply and stabilize the price, right? So, or ensure that farmers could farm. And so our solution was that direct trade model that we call Farm Direct, where we eliminate the middle people and push those inevitable savings down to the producers so that they could be economically viable, so we could have a guaranteed supply at a stable price, right? So what I wanted to say about it is it just makes good business sense.
Right.
Or the other way to look at that is if you're working on a capital model that is extractive, eventually that extraction will end. Right. It just will. Unfettered capitalism is self-destructive. Capitalism needs some boundaries. I'm not talking about regulation, but they can be moral boundaries, or they can be the boundaries that say or admit that Earth is finite, and what we take from it, we need to make sure we replace, or we'll be in trouble. And that's our basic overall approach to business. So there's a selfish side to it, is all that I'm saying. Yeah. It's certainly not do-goodery, and it's not philanthropy. We have our own agenda. It's just one that is people-centric, planet-centric, and community-centric. Today, I just did a post on LinkedIn, and really the question of it is, do you want to be a sociopathic capitalist, or do you want to be an empathetic capitalist? And so I set up the two ends, but they're ends with a line, and there's a sliding scale there, right?
Yeah.
And you get to decide as an individual whether you want to profit at the expense of people, at the expense of the environment, which we all pay for in the end, or you want to be the kind of business that ensures not just that you're solving a problem, that you're making money, but the rest of the value chain or supply chain or organization as a whole can come out as whole as you, right? And they're both profitable mechanisms. So, but one is literally a sociopath, right? Like they do not care about people or poverty or whether people die or are diseased or go hungry and so on and so forth. And they don't care that we can't fish our oceans, that there's no nutrients left in our soil, that our resources are becoming limited, we can't swim in the rivers, and we can't breathe the air. Okay, so as a consumer, you have to decide where you stand on that line as well. Do you want to be down with the sociopaths? Or do you want to be over with the empaths? Let's
down with the sociopaths.
Right, right. Now, when you hear the word empathetic capitalist, and you might think that person is disinterested in profit. The furthest thing could be true. That person is interested in profit that can be perpetual, right? That doesn't rape and extract to the degree that the business collapses upon itself. That's all.
Yeah. They're building a future-proof business.
Correct.
Yeah.
As long as the problem that they're solving continues to have a demand. That is true.
Yeah.
And the other half of that is, there are lots of organizations that are devoted to philanthropic work, good work, NGOs, charities, churches that have all been trying to tackle these social problems forever. And they haven't really gotten very far, in my estimation, because those problems are all still with us. Capitalism has the opportunity to create this self-sustaining virtue wheel, if you will. It is not reliant upon, you don't have to go beg for donations, and you don't, none of that. If everybody is thriving in the chain, that is an engine that can keep on running. But
that's right.
The trick is everybody's got to thrive. It's starting with the farmer.
I'm pretty selfish. I mean, the reason that I don't want to exacerbate poverty, crushing poverty, is because I don't want to increase mass migration. I don't want to increase war. I don't want to increase disease. I don't want to increase the destruction of surface water. I don't want to increase deforestation. So it's not some sappy, feel sorry for the poor guy kind of reason. I understand that if the poorest can be lifted up, the pressures on all those other things that we try to solve in other ways with other money go away. They go away. It's that simple.
I just think the whole dissonance between, products like coffee and the supply chains that they come from is really incredible. I'm just curious what, in these various travels that you've been, lucky enough to embark on, what has been the most surprising thing to see in person?
Well, the impact of climate change. I guess I shouldn't have been surprised, but when you see it right here, you're like, whoa, when you see, a coffee field that's just been ravaged by disease that wasn't there 5 years ago, but now because it's so wet, it's there. It creates a great degree of urgency about, the need to change the way we farm. And that's one thing. Babe, you got one?
Yeah, I totally agree with yours, by the way. The whole world is on fire. We land and there's smoke everywhere in developing countries. And so, we can sit in our suburban neighborhoods and not really feel it and be like, la, 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 everything's great. I don't know about this climate change thing, but we literally do see it. And the rivers are polluted. The surface water is gone and dried up and so on and so forth. So there's that. I agree with that. this is not a surprise either. And Michelle talked about it a moment ago. But we're all humans. We're all part of the same species, and there's so much fear around other places, and it is completely unnecessary. The people we meet on the ground are amazing people, again, who all want the same thing. They want food, shelter, clothing. They want safety, security, and health, and they want something better for the next generation. Holy shit, we're the same. You know, and it doesn't matter what color country we land into, what culture country we land into, what religion country we land into. We are 100% the same. We all want the same thing. And, the conclusion that you come to is that holding each other in dignity and respect is really the pathway forward. Period.